everybody, Torres here with another episode of Convicts Anonymous. So today I'm going to talk about prison phone call protocols. Now here's the thing, not their protocols. I want to help set protocols up for you to protect you and kind of give you the rundown on some guidelines on dealing with phone calls from an inmate in prison. Okay, let me get my notes out here. As I stated before a couple of times in former episodes, the prison phone call system was way different from when I first started, talking to an inmate in prison. Back in the day, we just accepted a collect call and it went on our phone bill. So things are different now. Each facility and each state has their own phone system that is routed through a secure website. They can get a little complicated, just to give you some names. GTL is one, Securus is another, Offender Connect. These are all websites where you can set up an account and put money in a phone account to be able to talk to that particular inmate. Now, the thing is this, if you're going to do that, it will ask for your credit card information, but it's a secure website. Like the inmates cannot see your information, okay? But hopefully, if you're talking to somebody or you begin to, they're paying for the calls for a while, that would be great. It also shows some initiative on their part that they do want to talk to you and connect with you sincerely if they're the one footing the bill for the phone calls. Sometime along the way, you may have to help a little bit, or in my case, help a lot. I've been talking to my guy again for quite a while. Now, that being said, though, the costs have dropped dramatically from when I first started talking to somebody in prison. Back in the day, I don't even remember what the cost is per call, but my phone bills got up into the hundreds and hundreds of dollars per month. Now, I think it's like 2 cents a minute. So it's way better. It makes it affordable. And most of the time, the inmates are only allotted a certain amount of time on the phone. In some prisons, they're only allowed a certain amount of calls a day. It just depends on where they're at. For me, Tony, my ex-husband who I speak to, again, they actually have iPads or tablets in their prison. Yes, the prison system is catching up with modern technology. So they have tablets, and he can walk around his area and talk to me like he's talking on a cell phone almost. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that they're finally catching up. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. Okay. So this is stuff that I did wrong back in the day. And it was actually the cause of why Tony and I got divorced. I'm not saying it was my fault per se, but I don't know. I guess I just didn't know any better. And it had nothing to do with him really being in prison. But it was more of just not setting parameters. Okay? All right. If you allow them to, they're going to call you 24/7. Okay? Depending on where they're at. I mean, not all facilities, of course, allow the inmates to talk all the time, but I know where Tony's at. Recently, this time, now that he's more stable and has calmed down quite a bit since we were married. But back in the day when we were married, he was still in the county jail fighting his case. So he just went to the payphone on their floor, and he would just call me all day, all night, just constantly. And it was new love for me, and I was of course answering my phone every time he called, thinking, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Well, God forbid I missed a call. After a while, God forbid I missed a call, because then it became, why didn't you pick up? Were you too busy to talk to me? And at first, I would kind of, I don't want to use the term played along, but I just went along with it. So, oh, no, no, no. I was like busy or I was doing something, but it got kind of out of control. And I just did not lay the law down. Um, Crazy things like he would call and say, I'd say, well, I'm washing dishes. Well, put the phone on speakerphone. Just put me down on the counter. I'm like, okay. I mean, come on. This was like a million years ago. Okay, this is like the 90s. I was young and dumb. Okay. Now, try that now, sucker. Okay. I laid the law down. You do not call me in the morning. I am busy taking care of dogs. Okay. You do not call me late at night. You do not call me on Sunday nights because that's 90-day fiance night. I have rules. If I'm busy and he's like, oh, well, just put me on speakerphone. I'm like, I'm putting you, no, I want to click. That's where I'm putting you. So I don't mean you have to be as rude as I am to him because unfortunately that's how I have to handle this guy because he is a handful, but it works. So be respectful, but just lay the law down. Don't let them call you at work. I mean, unless you want to, but I mean, I wouldn't. You know, do you really want everybody knowing your business? Not everybody is open-minded to somebody talking to somebody in prison, but it's just good to start off that way and just be polite. Say, hey, here's the thing. I go to work in the morning. I can't take your call, or I mean, or if you're gonna call me between this time and this time when I'm getting ready. But if you don't, you're gonna like create a monster because they have nothing but time on their hands. They're bored. They're lonely. I mean, you can't blame them, right? They have nothing else to do. So, I mean, now, you know, things have changed so much since I was married to Tony. Now I had this huge nonprofit organization and I got all these things that I'm doing. And I'll tell him now, I'm like, you know what? Let me find you can you phone a friend? Or let me find you a friend. I'll find you a pen pal and then you can call them. That's what I tell him, you know? So it's best, like, again, don't let them make the rules. You make the rules that suit your schedule. Okay. Um, a little inside information or a scoop or tip. Um, and I had to do this with Tony. Now we're not together. I'm not remarrying the guy. No. Says he has a new alias, and I hate the name he has. I never want the last name he has now. Whole nother podcast. But if they swear that they're only talking to you, okay, just kind of keep track of how much money. Oh, I was eating an onion ring. Just kind of keep track of how many times you talk versus how much money you put on their account. Because, if you're the only one talking to them and he's asking you to put money on his phone like every week, like, hold on a second. This is what I tell Tony. I don't care if you talk to somebody else. I really don't. But I'll be damned if I'm paying for their phone calls. So if you want to talk to somebody else, go for it. But you make them pay for your phone calls. I'm not footing this bill. So just something to be, just kind of just keep track of that. It's like, wait a minute. I only talk to you a couple of times a week, yet I'm putting money on your phone every Friday. I'd be a little suspicious. Okay. I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole on this because, boy, I can go way down the rabbit hole about, if you really start to get involved and you have a relationship and they haven't called you and they tell you there was a riot and they didn't have access to the phone and ways for you to find out if that's true. But we'll save that for another podcast. We're still in the beginning stages of this relationship. So I don't want to I don't want to, crush your dreams just yet. And I know I laugh a lot about this. It's because I've been doing it for so long. And again, there are some really great people in prison. There are people that just genuinely just messed up. Um, so take a lot of what I say, tongue in cheek. I have to laugh about it now because back in the day, especially Tony, whew, that boy gave me a run for my money. Let me tell you something. Anyways, okay. So that concludes my prison phone call protocols. And please, if you want to follow more of what I do in regards to prison stuff, check out my Patreon platform, patreon.com. And when you go there, just search for Convicts Anonymous. I have other types of podcasts on there. I have some one-on-one with inmates that are incarcerated and getting to know them on a more personal level, and some pen pal stuff going on there. So, and when you do subscribe, it's a very low monthly fee. It goes to my nonprofit that works with not only parolees, but also guys that are in prison, all surrounding my world of docs. So thanks for listening, and until we meet again.